Okay, hi everyone. The October 19th, 2023 meeting of the Corvallis School Board is called to order at 6:34 p.m. In the interest of public health and safety for all community members, especially for immunocompromised individuals and their families, the Corvallis School Board will continue to offer a virtual option for board member and district personnel participation. Additionally, public comment is available at some meetings both in person and virtually. Information about how to provide public comment is available on the Corvallis School District website. The board agenda and packet, as well as the link to the district YouTube channel, are available on the school board page on the district website. Public meetings are live streamed on the district's YouTube channel, and a recording is posted to the same channel, typically the day after the meeting. Tonight we have Directors Hawkins, Finger McDonald, Largent, Co-Vice Chairs Tomini and Jones, and myself attendance in person, and Director Aladabra is excused. And so the first order of business is the acknowledgement of Native American Heritage Month, and Chris is going to start us on that.
Corvallis School District Acknowledgement of Native American Heritage Month, Resolution Number 21-1003. Whereas the Corvallis School District recognizes and pays tribute to the significant contributions made in our community by Native American people, which includes American Indians, Alaska Natives, and Native Hawaiians, as well as Indigenous people from Canada, Mexico, Central America, South America, and the broader Pacific Islands. And whereas the Corvallis School District affirms that Native American students, families, staff, and community members should be valued for all aspects of their identities. And
whereas Reverend Sherman Coolidge of the Arapaho Nation and then President of the Congress of the American Indian Association first proclaimed American Indian Day on September 28, 1915, then calling to the nation to observe this day. And whereas Red Fox James of the Blackfoot Nation traveled across the country on horseback to gain endorsement of 24 state governments to hold a day to honor Native Americans nationally before presenting it to the White House on December 14, 1915, and
whereas American Indian Day was first declared May 1916 in the state of New York, and whereas Native American Awareness Week was first proclaimed nationally in 1976, and whereas what was then called National American Indian Heritage Month was first proclaimed nationally in 1990, and
whereas the Kalapuya people have called the Corvallis area and Willamette Valley home since time immemorial, and whereas the Confederated Tribes of the Grand Ronde Community of Oregon and the Confederated Tribes of Siletz Indians continue to maintain their ancestral and cultural connections to the Corvallis area and the broader Willamette Valley, and just a second.
There we go. Whereas education has been misused as a tool. I'm on the wrong page. Oops. My apologies. There's something on this side too. Whereas the state of Oregon has a documented history of anti-Indigenous actions based on colonization, which includes genocide, forced removals, deprivation, broken treaties, and the outlaw of Native American cultural practices. And
whereas education has been misused as a tool of colonization in Oregon, serving to sever Native American children from their families, languages, and cultural heritages through boarding residential schools, beginning with the Indian Training School at Forest Grove, which later moved and became Chemawa Indian School in Salem. And whereas Native American Heritage Month provides an opportunity to continue the district's growth and learning about the many contributions of Native American people to the nation, world, and local community. And whereas this also
Whereas education is a necessary component for creating a more equitable and anti-racist community, nation, and world. And whereas the Corvallis School District has made a commitment to equity and anti-racism. And whereas the Corvallis School District has a responsibility to honor and respect the diverse histories of our community. And
whereas the Corvallis School District believes each and every student must be celebrated and appreciated for the distinct and vibrant contributions made by sharing cultures, language, ideas, beliefs, and values within a school community. Therefore, let it be resolved by the Board of Education of the Corvallis School District does hereby proclaim November 2021, as well as each November annually, as Native American Heritage Month in the district, and strongly encourages students, families, staff, and community members to join in existing local celebrations, and encourages all schools in the district to help highlight this month in great appropriate ways, as well as highlight the contributions of Native American peoples to the local community, nation, and beyond, both historically and in current times. Adopted by the Board of Directors of School District Number 509J Corvallis of Benton and Lynn Counties, Oregon, as its regular meeting this 21st day of October 2021.
Great, thanks everyone for helping read that. And as a reminder, we read those every year to reaffirm the district's support of different heritage and history months. And the next thing on the agenda are student representative reports. And I don't know who wants to go first. Do you want to go first? I'm going to leave it up to you all to decide who's going first. So.
Okay, so nothing as super crazy has happened, but so our leadership class has started their fall term project. So they're preparing for the blood drive and the voters, bulletin boards. We also had a successful homecoming and homecoming spirit week. I think it was one of the best ones we've had so far. Tonight is the girls' senior night, so hopefully they're having a good game. And today we also got introduced to the new vice president. Yeah, principal. So yeah, that's it.
Okay, so I was asked to say my favorite thing about the new building. It's hard to pick, but I think not having to walk between two buildings and between my classes is a big plus. Sources of Strength has planned a spirit week for next week, and we're gonna do helping out with tie-dye at Adams on Friday next week. And we have a field trip on November 8th to Silver Falls.
Okay, that's all we have to report for this evening. Thanks you all for bringing those updates. And the next item on the agenda is the Corvallis Public Schools Foundation work session. So welcome you all. Thanks for being here this evening. It's good to see you all. And I'm going to hand it over to Angela.
Great, thank you. I think we are starting first with introductions, but I first just wanted to thank you for inviting us again tonight. I think this is maybe the 4th or 5th year that we've been holding these joint board meetings twice yearly, and I think it's one of the many examples of just the strengthening partnership between the foundation and the district that we really value. So tonight we're really happy to be here, and we look forward to a robust discussion. And I think we wanted to just start by, we've got a lot of new board members, new staff members, so just maybe if we could all start with an introduction. So I'm Angela Hibbard, I'm the executive director. Should we go this way?
Sure. Mindy Hamlin, this is my 6th year on the foundation board, and this year I am the chair of the board.
I'm Rick Wallace, starting my 4th year on the board. I'm Salam Dabi, and this is my third year in the board.
And I'm Wanda Arp, and this is my third year on the board.
I'm Mark O'Heen. I'm just finishing my first year on the board.
Good evening. I'm Kevin Dougherty, the trustee. This is my fourth or fifth year on the board. Can't remember.
Good evening. I'm Susan Gardner, and this is my first year on the board.
I'm Nina Ehrlich-Williams. This is my third year on the board, and I'm serving as board secretary right now. Nice to see you all.
Hi, everyone. My name is Erica Syrup, and I'm the brand new community engagement manager for the foundation, and I am super, super happy to be here.
I'm Chris Hawkins. I am brand new to the school board.
I'm Eileen Lewis. This is my first year as student representative for College Hill.
I'm Shauna Tomini. I'm she, her, and going into starting my third year on the school board and sharing co-vice chair along with Therese.
Hi, everyone. Luhui White Bear. I go by Lou, and I use she, her pronouns, and I've been serving on the school board since January 2020 and started as chair this year.
I'm Ryan Ash. I'm the superintendent, and this is the beginning of year 8 for me.
I'm Therese Jones, board member and co-vice chair. And I don't, maybe 7 years? 7 years. Sarah says 7, so I'm going to go with that.
I'm Zoe De Amicis. This is my second year as school board rep for CV.
I'm Sarah Finger McDonald, she, her pronouns, and this is my 7th year on the Corvallis School Board.
Hi, my name is Judah Largent. I use he, him pronouns, and this is my first year on the school board.
Hi, everyone. Melissa Harder. Melissa Harder, assistant superintendent.
Hi, everyone. I'm Vibhav Javali. This is my first year as school board representative from CV.
I'm Kim, I'm the school board secretary.
Okay, well, we're working on sharing my screen. I'll let Mindy kind of tee up what we were planning to cover in our update today before we get into kind of our working session.
Well, I'm very happy to be here. As Angela said, yes, I forgot we have these mic things. Very happy to be here. This 4 or 5 years, I know I've been to several of these, and it's really been useful for me early on in my board service to understand more about the relationship and how we can partner. And then I'm just so encouraged with the continuing strengthening of the partnership, because it really, I think it's showing up in a lot of great things, which I don't want to steal Angela's thunder, but our annual report hit mailboxes today, so woo! And it's wonderful. Today we're really going to spend a little bit of time just hitting some highlights of the last year, the impact that we were able to make, which I think we've done a great job in capturing in our annual report, which is a key piece of communication, but in so many other ways we've got things to talk about that we're excited about. And then we're going to talk a bit about our plans for strategic planning. I was very excited and honored to be invited to attend the school board working session when we worked on goals out in Albany, and that was really fun. And it was, you know, my wheels were really turning, because we need to do our next kind of phase of strategic planning for the foundation, and so it's just like so perfect. And today we're going to spend some time after we get through our update working together, and I'm really looking forward to the conversations, because it's going to be so critical to, as we go through our planning process, that we're going to facilitate throughout the year, culminating in the spring, and then that sets us up for the next 5 years. So, thank you.
Thanks, Mindy. I have the pleasure of sharing about our team update. Since we last met, our team has grown quite significantly. So as of 3 weeks ago, Erica Syrup joined us as Community Engagement Manager. We're thrilled. She's already making a big impact, even in just 3 weeks, believe it or not. And this is a really significant addition for the foundation. We're a small team, and this really represents a big part of our commitment to growing our impact and continuing our work together to further improve, our ability to serve all students. And you may recall that we had a development director position in the past briefly, and when that position turned over, we really gave a lot of thought to what do we need to really grow and increase our impact the way we want. And certainly development and fundraising are critical. I mean, that is the only reason we're here, right, is to raise funds. But we really wanted to grow our team in a way that we knew that for it to have real impact, we really need to expand our relationships and our engagement in the whole community, starting with our district partners, staff, parents, our diverse community partners, of course, businesses, donors. And so we really kind of reframed our thinking around what that position would be. We're thrilled we found Erica. She brings a lot of experience in community outreach and development. And so we're just really excited about what this growth in our team can bring for our partnership with the district. So welcome, Erica.
As Mindy mentioned, our 2023 annual report is hitting mailboxes this week, and you all have a copy of it in front of you to take home with you tonight. The wonderfully colorful cover features the foundation-funded mural at Garfield, as well as photos of Corvallis students who benefit from the work of CPSF. We're proud of the continued growth of our organization and the meaningful impact these funds have on Corvallis schools and students. In the report, you'll find a summary of our activities and some key stories that highlight our work. This year, we received a total of $881,000 in contributions, including several sizable gifts to our endowed funds, which will provide sustainable support for our schools. During the past year, we awarded almost $350,000 through grants and other programs. These allocations align with our three core priorities. First, improving educational access for students experiencing homelessness and navigating poverty. Second, providing innovative and enriching learning experiences. And third, funding targeted programs that help improve graduation rates.
We also supported more than 150K in donations to school programs, such as like specific school programs, such as like the graduate all-night party, and also the performing arts, robotics, and sports teams, and other programs.
$96,000 was contributed to the Family Support Program and to the Student Opportunity for Success, otherwise known as SOS, to provide critical resources such as groceries, gas cards, hygiene items, emergency rental, and utility assistance, and other support so that students can arrive to school safe, fed, and ready to learn.
And so our Imagine and Youth Empowerment and Action Grants, these are our primary ways in which we are supporting learning and enrichment. And so this last year, between these two grants or these two programs, we were able to provide more than $100,000 in funding, which was covered across 42 grants. Now, this included district-wide, school-wide, as well as classroom-based projects. A few of the examples are pictured here on the website or on the screen, excuse me, but you can find a complete list of the grants within our annual report. Now, as you can probably imagine, going through these grant applications, this is not a small feat. And so we want to say thank you, that we greatly appreciate and value the partnership with the district leadership team. And this partnership is very critical in making sure that we are in alignment with our goals and priorities in fulfilling these grants.
Another example of how we collaborated with the district was this summer when we found out that the state was not going to be providing funding for summer programs. We were able to reach out to the community, make sure that there was sufficient funding to meet the gap in funding that we knew would be there. And it's another example of how having kind of a private fundraising arm can help support the district in meeting unexpected and critical funding gaps like we saw this summer.
So thanks to our generous community and our local businesses, we provided $89,000 in funding for these enrichment programs at the elementary, middle, and high school levels, which also included support for care and connection so students could continue to have access to the vital resources over the summer months, and high school credit recovery programs to help 100 students stay on track to graduate. And we would like to especially thank Ryan's summer program team, who were incredible partners and delivered an outstanding summer for Corvallis students.
I gotta wait till green. Great. Okay, I mentioned this a little bit in my intro, but we are really focused this year. One of our priorities is developing our next 5-year strategic plan. So we had some summer reading. The book was From Generosity to Justice, A New Gospel of Wealth. I'm not going to steal Mark's thunder because he's going to talk about it a little bit more, but it was a really, really powerful book, and I know several people on the school board actually read it with us and was part of our discussion, so we had a really good time with that, and I think it'll be really helpful in grounding us in what really thinking about how we want to approach this next phase of the foundation. Right now, Angela and I have been working on planning how we're going to do discovery. We're taking the opportunity and learning and how things have gone with the school board's process and working on engaging a consultant to help us with discovery, talking to stakeholders. And as I mentioned tonight, is really in my mind the first part of that in some of our discussion. And then in March, we'll be doing an all-day planning retreat and come out of that with our goal by the June timeframe to have an adoption of our goals and the strategies for the next 5 years.
So this summer, we got some homework from Angela. One of her early decisions as the executive director assigned us some reading, and we all read this book called, as Mindy said, From Generosity to Justice. And we had an entire meeting dedicated to discussing, and a pretty lively discussion, because this book is very provocative in a good way. I'd recommend it to anybody, just about to anybody to read. It's an easy read, written by Darren Walker, who is the CEO of the Ford Foundation. The main thesis is that it's one thing to be generous, and there's nothing wrong with being generous or charitable, but that's sort of downstream. It's a Band-Aid. It can be. It's fixing a problem, and it's more impactful and more difficult to address systemic and other inequities that lead to the requirement for generosity and charity. So it's a real challenge. We had a good discussion. You can see some of the themes listed here, including collaboration with the people that are impacted and being served. I mean, it's one thing to sit at a foundation, or in his case, a very large $1 billion foundation, and have meetings in boardrooms and so on. but it's another to actually interact with the people that you're trying to help and listening to them. And so I think that we all got quite a bit out of that discussion. Again, the main theme is listed here. Charity is about helping people survive, and justice is about helping people thrive.
And so just to conclude our update and sort of borrowing from that quote that Mark just shared, we're looking forward to our continued partnership with the Corvallis School District and working together to help ensure that all of our students thrive and reach their full potential. So thank you for letting us come tonight and share. And also, if anybody has any questions about anything we shared, happy to entertain those.
It's not a question, it's a comment, and I was gonna say, I was actually reading the report when I got home. My daughter checked the mail for me. And I was looking at how awesome all these projects were, and I was like, that's so cool to like see it all in one place, because you hear about it all year, right? But to see it all put together in one spot. So I would really encourage the community to open it when you get it in your mail and take a look at it and see the work that's going on and how much care the community is putting into helping students in the district get to where they need to be. So I just wanted to mention that real quickly, and also that it's really cool to see that you all had a read that talks about systematic things, and so did we. And so I think that was really nice timing that both boards were reading some things to think about systems differently and how that impacts the different kinds of roles that we have in the community with the different boards. So I just wanted to mention that too. Thanks.
If there's not any other questions, we'll just keep moving then. So we wanted to, the plan for this evening is to spend a little bit of time thinking about where we are with the development of our school board goals. And then from there, we have some questions, some prompts that we're going to ask you to partner up. I've sort of organized the pairings, but for the opportunity for foundation board and school board members to sit alongside one another and talk through some of the questions that we posed. And then at the end of the time, we'll have an opportunity to do some debrief. And so that's really what we have in the next 40 minutes. And in getting started, what you should each have in front of you is a copy of our draft school board goals. And school board members, if there's things that you want to add as I go through and describe where we're at, feel free to do so. So it's this document here, 2024-29 board goals. It's the 8.5 by 11, and everybody should have a set. If you don't have a set, Kim can bring you one. And so where we are in the process right now is that as I've shared with you at your foundation meetings, we spent time last winter and spring meeting with community groups to receive feedback on our previous goals, some prioritization around those, what are some of the strengths within our community, and what are some of our areas where we see barriers and challenges that we can work to address. The board goals are an important document for us because they help us to make decisions about the things that we fund, the ways that we measure our progress, the ways my work is appraised and assessed. So my evaluation is related to how we're making progress here. And it's a document that our leaders can talk to and recognize where we're making, what initiatives we're undertaking and how those align with these board goals. So it's a really important document for us. At our last board meeting, we spent time looking at this draft document, and I received quite a bit of feedback on it. The document you see is still the document I received feedback on last Thursday night because there was a lot of feedback. However, on the second page, I've highlighted some of the themes that you will see based on the revisions that I'll be making from the feedback. So the things that came up were the importance in our language around equity to have continue to have language around students' identities, should not predict or predetermine success in school. We also recognize that assessment for us is an important piece to measure progress, but just the standards that ODE sets for us are just one set of expectations and standards for students, and there's a lot of other aspects of student growth and development that we take into account. So while those pieces are important, like third grade reading, graduation rates, we know that there's other pieces as well. And so we want to be able to share feedback and improvements in both categories. There was a strong component and loud voices in our community, strong voices in our community related to the environment. And so adding a component around eco-literacy is something that will be added. Student voice being an overarching value in our work. Also, we had a lot of conversations about families in these board goals, and also students who live independently, and how do we make sure that we're accounting for students in both situations. And then we know that this is education, and so there's some jargon in here, which goes without saying if it's an education document. And so we need to have some definitions and clarifying those pieces. So those are things that we will I'll be adding as I bring this back to the board for a first read. And at the same time, I didn't want to come to you tonight after spending time with the board last week without any of those pieces being considered or shared. Beyond that, we have 4 board goal areas. In the past, we've had 5. However, the 5th one was around facilities, and we're at a stage right now, as we sit in a beautiful new gym, that is not one of the priorities for the next 5 years. And so that one has been dropped. And so the goals are around excellent learning experiences, equitable systems, relevant and engaging learning, and finally, healthy communities. Under each title, there is a descriptor, several lines that try to describe what that goal area is, and also some strategies. Under those strategies, there'll be activities that are more on the operational side, so more of Melissa and my work and the work of our schools. That is a piece that stays with the operational side of the house rather than the policy and governance side of the house, which is the school board. So that's how we've sort of delineated this document for right now. So what I'm going to let you do is I'm going to give you a minute or two to read through this document. Unless there's anything else board members want to add. Go ahead, Lou.
Seems like I always have something to add, but sorry. It seems like I always have something to add. I wanted to mention too that we talked about like thinking about the students and their futures, not just based on going to college. And so like thinking about students as their post K-12 futures, because we don't know what that's going to be. Somebody might want to go to a 4-year, somebody might want to go 2-year trade school, somebody might want to be a parent, we don't know. They might want to go to the military. It's unknown to us. So we don't want to make it seem like if they don't go to college, then that's like the whole basis for the goals, if that makes sense. And I wanted to reemphasize the part that Ryan said about students who live on their own, also includes students who may not have supportive families too, because a lot of times there's like we want to involve families and we don't want to like single out those students in those situations. And so keeping some of these pieces like the student voice and the identity piece, which was our old equity goal on the top as like the guiding principles to these goals was the idea. And there was another part where we're saying like a profile of what a student will have when they leave the Corvallis School District is something that we're looking at adding into. So those are just a couple of things I wanted to point out as well. Yeah.
So I'll give you a minute or, oh, go ahead, Shauna. I'm sorry, I didn't see your hand.
Kind of in a line over here. Something else that I know came out of our conversation was just attention to thinking about how staff, their voice, well-being, and support for staff shows up in the goals, which isn't really strongly reflected yet, as well as an overarching theme of something we've been talking about for a while in the board of communication as well as community engagement, which I think resonates deeply with the work that you're doing as well.
So go ahead and take a minute or two and review that document. And then, once that's happened, I'll organize pairs and groups to move into the questions, but I'll give you a couple minutes before we start that. All right, now we'll test my abilities and your abilities to follow my directions. How's that? Teresa isn't sure, but we're going to give it a go. So again, you have a copy of the board goals, and then you have a half sheet with questions on it for the discussion. We're going to have 2 rotations, and I have done my best to pair up board members from both organizations as well as our students. So when I say go, not quite yet, I'm going to pair Melissa and Rick, Judah and Mindy, Sarah and Angela, Therese, Vibhav, and Erica. I'll be with Salam and Wanda. Lou will be with Mark and Kevin. Shauna, Zoe, and Susan will be together. And finally, we have Chris, Eileen, and Nina. So those are the pairings. We don't have 2 sets of chairs everywhere, so we'll just have to do our best to jostle around. And then after that 10-minute period of time, I have another set of names. So for now,
I know.
it was gonna be wild otherwise. So go ahead and meet up with your partner group to have a conversation. We won't report out at the end of this first 10-minute period of time. It will be at the end. So just be thinking about broad themes that you would want to share. You can choose the questions because you only have 10 minutes. We tried to make sure there were plenty of questions. And Erica.
Erica. Oh, right there. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good.